Right, let's build these bum muscles. You are going to start on the ground. Oh, so you love it when you're exercising on the ground. Heels are going to stay together. You're going to make sure those hips are stacked over one another. Arm can be down on the ground or on those hips. And we're just going to take that knee up and down. So let's go. We have 1 minute. So these are clams. And the reason why these are so good is because they're going to work small little tiny muscles in your bum and around your hips, and these are really important for stabilization. Now some of you might be super sort of mobile around the hips, and your knee might literally be up towards the ceiling. What you want to do is to work within your own range. So if you're that kind of a person, then great, but if you feel like you aren't getting a huge amount of movement, like I'm not, then that's not a problem, as long as we are keeping this technique and we are in the right position. So as you take that knee up, you just want to feel that muscle working. So you could always just pause for a second or so. We're then going to take it over to the other side in just a second. Come over to the other side. Make sure you are in position. Get yourself nice and comfortable. Your head can either be up, propped up, or you can be lying down, however you feel that you need to be. But make sure these hips are in the right position, stacked over one another. And as we're doing this, don't force it too much. This isn't about trying to stretch your range of motion. All we're looking to do is to lift that knee up until we feel that muscle working. Hold it there for a second and come back down again. That's it. We got it. So small, little movements, but working very vital muscles. Now we are going to be working throughout the whole of the bum, and especially if you spend a lot of time sitting or you are postnatal, even pregnant, you can do a lot of these exercises. Then you might realize that your bum muscles aren't working as optimally as they should, and therefore what you don't use, you lose, and your bum might start to become a little bit flat, what's known as mum bum. Okay, so let's change over sides again, because we're going to take this into a side leg lift. So now we're going to work through a little bit more on the outer edge of the leg. That leg is going to be nice and straight. You're going to push through the heel and we're going to take it up and down. So this foot isn't going to touch the ground, and we're going to take it up and down with control. So make sure your position is optimal for this exercise. So what you want to do is to make sure that everything is in a nice long line. It doesn't want to be forwards, it doesn't want to be backwards. We're looking for length and we're looking for a nice straight line. Good, so we're going to take this up and down with control. Take that foot down so it's roughly at hip height. You're going to avoid it coming down too low. And you should be able to feel like it's working through the side of your legs. That's it. Keep it up. Good. Try not to force things and just relax. But not for too long, because we are going to change over sides. Okay, get yourself into position. Make sure those hips are stacked on top of each other. We're going to stretch out through that leg, push the heel away and pull that toe up. Let's go. Nice and controlled. Once you feel like you've got the movement, then if you want to, you can vary the speed. So you can take it up faster. You can also take it slowly. Whatever you do, it's always a good idea just to mix things up. Whether you are walking, with the different exercises that you're doing, and often you'll find that the slower you do things, sometimes the more challenging it is. This is also a really nice exercise for stability as well. So if you're looking to get back into running, or you're just feeling a little bit unsteady as you're going about your day, especially after you've had a baby, then this workout can be very beneficial. Good. So we're going to stay on this side and we're going to take this into a side plank. Make sure we've got roughly a right angle between the top of the body and the knees, and then I want you to push those hips forwards until you're raised up into this side plank position, and the elbow is likely to be just under the elbow in a position that feels good for you. So when you're in this position, I want you to really feel like you're squeezing through the glutes, creating some tension. That's it. Nice. Hold this here if you feel like you need to. You can sink down, have a little bit of a shuffle, and come back up again. So often with this is going to be working through those side tummy muscles, as well as a bit of the leg muscles through here. And I also want you to get bum involved as well. If you feel like as you're doing this, you get any tension through that top knee from squeezing the glutes, just try and squeeze the bottom glute only and see if that makes a difference. Not longer now, just a couple more breaths. And come down nice and gently and change over to the other side. So get that starting position first. It's a bit like a right angle between the top of the body and through the knees, so that when you push those hips forwards, you then make this nice, straight, strong line. We're just gonna stay here. If this is your first time doing a side plank, then you might find it a little bit tiring. Not a problem if you want to dip down, take a second's break, breathe out, and come all the way back again. So again, think about squeezing through those glutes. You can also squeeze the thighs together, push the ground away, and feel like you're engaging these muscles here too. And I would urge you to try this with some bum muscles relaxed, and with the inner thighs relaxed, and then also see how it feels when you're engaging them as well. Sometimes we can get so much more out of an exercise by really focusing and engaging more of our muscles in a mindful way. Last couple of breaths. And come down nice and slowly. If you're feeling this through the shoulders, roll it out, taking it forwards and taking it back. So we've now got donkey kicks. So we're going to come onto all fours. We're going to push the ground away. We've got one side first. So keeping this right angle, this leg is going to come up and back down. Let's go. Push the ground away. Have some gentleness through the elbows. So if you've got a bit of hypermobility, or if you're the kind of person that stands with your knees locked or legs locked, then just keep an eye out for these elbows. Keep them nice and soft. They don't need to be bent, but you just don't want them so that the elbows, the inside of the elbows, are facing forwards or even out to the sides. Good. And again, with this one, mix up the timing so you can make it faster. And you can also really slow it down. One thing you want to avoid is an upper back arching and coming back. We're keeping everything else nice and engaged, zipping up through those deep core muscles to engage through the core. And let's change sides. Have a quick little wriggle through those wrists, roll them out, and let's get into our position. So we're going to push the ground away, engage through those stomach muscles, keep that leg at 90 degrees, and we're going to take it up and back down. So this is working through the glutes. It's also working through the hamstrings. So if you spend a lot of time sitting, hamstrings are going to get tight and weak. So really nice just to strengthen them. It's also important to stretch them as well, so please do, if you can, give them a good stretch. They will thank you for it. And again with this one, change it up by speeding it up, but speed it up to a pace where you are not compromising your technique. So if you start speeding it up and everything gets a bit sloppy, slow it right down again. Push the ground away, elbows are nice and soft, abdominal muscles are engaged. Again, we're going to keep that back nice and long and just in one position. That's it, well done. And just relax. Let's stretch out through these wrists. We're going to come forwards a little bit, place the backs of the hands on the ground, and then sit backwards. Fingers are going to be pointing towards us. Last one we've got, just got a couple of pelvic tilts, and we're going to do this in a kneeling position. You can do this standing too if that feels better for you. But for this one, we're just going to scoop that pelvis under. You might feel a stretch through the fronts of the legs and a squeeze through the bum, and then just relax, have a little bit of arch through the back and scoop up. So imagine if you've got your thumb on the bottom of the ribs and the little fingers on the top of the hips. As you breathe out, scoop everything up. This distance is actually going to shorten. Let's send that one backwards, the distance lengthens, shortens as you bring everything in. Engage. Let's get the breathing with this as well. Breathe in, relax, breathe out, engage, squeeze through those glutes, come back in. You might also feel this through the inner thighs as well. Make sure you keep breathing. And just relax. You are done. First part of this series is over.